everyone, it's your girl Coach C, and I'm here doing an interview with my uncle. I will live and never die. So a little background about him. I is um, in Jamaica. He's my uncle in Jamaica, my blood uncle, and he is a very spiritual man. One of the most, if not the most spiritual man that I know. He spent a lot of time in himself, with himself, in nature. About 2.5 years living in a cave where he learned all about spirituality, all about life and nature and connecting with breath. And so I have the opportunity that I'm so grateful for to do an interview with him and place this on my channel. I don't know what's up with your screen, but I want you to turn your phone around and introduce yourself to the people. Hmm. There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, as usual, I'm Heights I from Jamaica. I just see life as spiritual, everything as spiritual, which other people don't see that way. People have life as physical and spiritual, but in real life, everything is naturally spiritual. So I can tell you whatever you want to know about spirituality and how it works and how a lot of people don't know about what they are living with or what they are living in or what or how to live to connect to this spiritual world. A lot of people are paying money to connect to something that is already connected to them.
Okay, so now
Yeah.
explain what is the spiritual world. So like a lot of my so there are some of my followers and your followers that are familiar with spirituality, and then there's some people that is brand new to spirituality. So if you were to explain what the spiritual world is, what is spirituality? Can you explain that for us?
Oh, spirituality is really everything. Everything is spirituality because spirituality is really life that we come born and grow up in, and what the leaders and rulers of this world do, they divide life and call a part of it spiritual and a next section of it physical.
Mm-hmm.
But in real life, everything is spiritual because there wasn't anything before in a physicality until the breath, which is that spiritual aspect of life, bring forth everything from one spirituality to a next spirituality. But if people of this world don't see it this way, they see that it moved from spirituality to physicality.
Mm.
But everything is really still remain the same spiritual, just that it leave from one, just like when you'd have water. So when you put it in a different vibration, it moves from water to ice.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same water. And the ice, they would say it is physical or solid, and the water is not solid. But the ice does not solid. The ice does not solid. It only appear to be solid, but it is not solid because if you leave it, it just go right back in its spiritual form. So spirituality is really everything. Spirituality is really everyone. Yeah. Yes, the breath that we are breathing, it is everything. Now, this is what happen now in life where a lot of people does not have no experience of the breath. Yeah, they don't know about the breath. So for me now to explain to them now, you have to really have a more connection with yourself to really get a good draft of the breath. Yeah. So the breath is all there is. The breath is what we breathe on a daily basis
Uh-huh.
and does not really recognize as the ultimate of life. Yeah. Because they taught us about something else outside of ourselves. And everybody looking forward to that something outside of ourselves. And it becomes a norm. It becomes a reality to everybody, as if whatever you're looking for outside of yourself, it is as if it is there and it is real. No, it is not.
Mm-hmm.
What is real is the breath that we are breathing. That's what is real. That's what creates our life source.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
So, okay, so
when I
mm-hmm. So I was gonna say the breath, it sounds like it's the totality of life, right?
the breath is the totality. That's what I'm saying. It is the totality. Everything start from a single cell
Mm-hmm.
from the breath. Everything creates from the breath from a single cell.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now we're talking about the breath, and we
Yeah.
said the totality of life is one of the most important things. How can people grow, right, in their connection to the breath?
Okay. For a person to really connect to the breath, because really everyone is really connected to the breath, because from we are inhaling in the breath, that means we are connect. But that's not the totality. That's not the fullness. That's not even half of life. By just breathing in the breath of alone, we connect, but we need to connect to the breath more than just breathing the breath. We need to know the breath, know what the breath is
Mm-hmm.
around us, because it never leave us. It is what grow us. It live in us. It live around us. It live with us.
Yeah.
It never leave us. And as I'm saying that 90% of the people on earth does not have no knowledge about the breath, and does not have a knowledge about the breath, that the breath is the totality. The breath is what, as you wake up in the morning, you should think about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the breath is always thinking about us on a daily basis. So when people now say they are praising to a God, it's really the breath they are referring to, but they are doing it unconsciously, because we already get a teaching over the years to pray to a God that look like a man. So every single soul have an image of a man inside of them head praying to.
Mm-hmm.
So by praying to this image that you bring forth into your head as a man, then it helps to disguise that vibration that keep flowing around us and flowing around in through us and in us. It disguises it so no one are picturing this vast substance of breath that is around us. No one are picturing it. Are about 10% of people on earth are picturing and know. They know that the breath is the substance of life. Just 10%.
Mm-hmm.
90% of the people lost from the true essence of the breath, what every single soul are yearning for, is what they lost from.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So whatever we are praying to for help, for salvation, for everything that we wanted, we don't know it. The people them do not know it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I cannot blame them, because I never know it neither until I put myself in the position of life to know what life is all about. then this is how the breath transform itself, and let I see the difference about the breath, human being, and the God that they taught us.
Mm-hmm.
Because the breath always giving us our true answer, but we can't acknowledge it because we are so unconscious living. We are living so unconscious in the what they call the physical world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, all right. So
Yeah,
you're
go ahead.
saying that we have to grow in our connection to the breath. We have to think about it the first thing in the morning. So now, what are some actual steps that somebody can do to grow into their connection with the breath?
Meditation.
Mm-hmm. And what's the proper way to meditate?
Medi- Come again?
And tell us what's the best way to meditate?
Oh, it's just one way to meditation,
Uh-huh.
silence. One way to meditation. Silence.
Mm-hmm.
Silence. One awareness. When you be one away and silence,
Mm-hmm.
because silence bring you straight to this natural substance that we call the breath. Silence. So if you could just decide that, okay, I am going to let go everything out of my thought, just free myself and just think about the breath. While inhaling, you close your eye and you are just every breath that you take, you just focus on the breath going inside your nostril,
Mm-hmm.
going straight to your lungs and transform itself into all different particles of your body.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever time you're exhaling, you still just focus on that breath that coming out of you. And you do that for while you are meditating, whether for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you do it on a more regular basis. Then you find yourself are going to more in tune with the truth of life, because every single life source have to breathe the breath. This is not something that no one can come to a one with, come trick them with. Like how them come and give us God and trick us with God. You cannot never, no one can never trick no one with the breath, because as you're born, you start to breathe in the breath.
Mm-hmm.
So this is something that if you, because what I'm saying that a lot of people just have the breath as something that you inhale and that's it. And they have it as just breeze, and the breeze are just blowing and that's it. But they don't have that knowledge and that consciousness to know that the breath that we are breathing, it is the most important, vital, it is the most divine source. Without the breath, there cannot be anything possible. Nothing at all cannot be possible. Everything that we do and say, the breath recognize everything that we do and say. It's just we don't recognize the breath that is always with us, around us, and in us. And we still don't recognize that we even are not a part of the breath. We are the breath. We are the breath, because before any physical form of human being or any physical substance is the breath. And the breath create and formalize itself into itself. It form itself from one portion of itself to a next portion of itself.
Okay.
So take for instance the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
No, no, go ahead. The earth.
Yeah. Take for instance the earth.
Mm-hmm.
Before there was any physical earth, is the breath. So the breath form itself into cells to create the earth, because everything created from a single cells of the breath.
Mm-hmm. So now,
So it form itself into one single cell of itself to create the earth. So the earth now starts to create by cells and it starts to multiply by 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 50, 100, 200. And that's how it just starts to grow. And it starts to grow until it becomes this hard and tough material, what we call physical.
Yeah.
And
So
also the same cells,
uh-huh.
also the same cells that the breath create with the earth. It's the same cell that create human being. It's the same cell that create the water because water carries cells. Water carries cells and the water is the breath and the breath is the water. But what the breath do, the breath just transform itself into a next particles of itself and give it a different reaction and vibration to it.
Right. So what I'm
So all water is, go ahead.
so I'm hearing that the breath manifests into many different forms, right? Many different forms,
Yeah.
me, you, the trees, the bugs, the animals, the planets, the breath itself manifested into many different forms. And it's interesting because the other day, one thing I do know is that we as humans, we don't use as much of our lungs. We use about 20% of our lungs to breathe in air because we do shallow breathing. But if we intensify our breathing, we will use more of our lungs. And, the more air that we have, the more breath that we have, the more life that we have. And so the other day, I heard a woman mention that cancer starts in your body in areas where oxygen is lacked or the breath is lacked. Can,
Mhm.
can you speak on that?
Okay. Cancer, really, it starts from your thought.
Mm-hmm.
All sickness start from your thought. Many people wouldn't agree with this, but I still know that you have people out there that will agree because they have experience of it.
Okay.
So sickness start from our thought. Healthiness start from our thought.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever you use your thought to transform in, that's what you are going, that's the result that you are going to get. So if there's a person who get up every day and think evil, think the less about life, think so low about life, then you are creating a sickness inside of your body.
Mm.
Yeah. This, okay, when it don't become sickness as yet, it just become a symptom
Mm-hmm.
because you are looking at, take for instance, a person are watching a show and that show represent killing and all type of killing. So by looking at the show and you now start to consciously create those images that you're seeing, it is going inside of your brains and lodge because we never create to watch these things. These things never was to be inside of human being.
Mm-hmm.
So while we put these unusual things inside of our head, which is we put it in as thought. So what it do now, it come and play back on us.
Mm-hmm.
It does not have anywhere to go because it become a symptom now and start to move around in the body. So it leave from into the brains and start to go all about into the body and lodge. So these symptoms lodge all about into your body. It does not become a sickness yet. It's just a symptom. So if you recognize it early out, and then if you can just adjust your body or your thought, by adjusting your thought with proper thinking, then it start to eliminate and erase back all these bad thoughts before it becomes sickness. Now, what caused the sickness now is when these symptoms lodge all over in your body and a person eat and drink processed food. food that come through the process of human being. These symptoms now start to feed from this processed food and then now start to become put on physicality onto them and becomes sickness and disease, which is cancer.
Mm-hmm.
So this is how sickness and disease develop. When people think little about life and evil about life, you send wrong signal to your brains, which is symptom. The symptom goes inside of your body from the tip of your toe to the crown of your head. And they lodge inside there, waiting on something for it to eat, to grow. So if you have these symptoms and you are eating and drinking naturally from nature, these symptoms won't grow and becomes no disease. Because why? They cannot feed from the natural substance. But when you start to eat and drink all these processed, man-made food, this is where these symptoms start to feed from these things. And then they start to become sickness and disease and cancer. And doctor now start to give them all different type of name: arthritis, diabetes, lungs cancer, pile, hemorrhoid, breast cancer, fibroid, thyroid, sinus. All these things is just one single sickness. So this is how people really gather. People don't really get sickness from food. You don't get sickness from food, because if a person are so pure in themselves and them eat the same man-made food, it cannot bring on no sickness, because it take a symptom for a sickness. It take a symptom for a sickness or a disease.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the symptom, then whatever you eat cannot give you it. Just like the animal. That's why you see the animal, them live different from us. They can eat and drink anything and nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them that much. So that's why they don't.
Dogs get
Right.
cancer. You know, dogs get cancer. Cats get cancer.
Yeah, because those one no, I'm glad you touched that point. Dogs that get cancer are really the one them that live into house with people. So they don't have any natural connection.
Yeah.
And they feed from this food, and they think, dog and cat think just like human being.
Okay.
Just like human being. They view life the same way. So that's the reason why they're quicker to be sick.
Okay.
You won't find like a elephant, a giraffe. You won't find like a lion. And these type of animal that live into the wild where you can't tame them. These animals not sick so easily. So sickness really come from the thought of people. Come from the thought. You just think, and for us now to get rid of this sickness, you have to start think back properly. Because a lot of people sick and they are running to the hospital for help, and they are not getting any help. They are going into nature to to get some herbs, and many of them are not getting any help, because it's not the herb secure. It's not the herb secure, it's your thought secure. So it's a thought you have to use to clean up back those sickness. You use the same thought to put sickness in your body. So you have to use back the same thought to help to erase back those sickness out of your body. That's the best way.
Yeah.
Herbs are there, well, can eliminate sickness. I agree. Herbs are there. But the best way is to just change your thought, because if you don't change your thought and you take the herbs and the herbs help you, you're going back to think the same way, and those sickness are coming back again same way. And you can understand, say, is what you're thinking, is how you think, is what you look at, is what you talk, is what you taste, is what you touch. All these things bring signal, because the breath, as I'm saying about the breath is one whole aspect of life that put itself in different particles, but is the same one sense, the same sense that run into everything, the same sense, but different nutrients. So
Mm-hmm.
listen this now. Everything come with a different particles of the breath as nutrients, different nutrients, but the same sense. So take for instance, an orange would come with a different nutrients from a mango,
Mm-hmm.
but the same sense that is in the orange is the same sense that is into the mango.
So what do you mean by sense?
Sense, just like a person who utilize up them sense.
Yeah.
So the breath is very sensitive. The breath is very sensitive. Nothing is sensitive in life as the breath. So what the breath do, the breath create an orange with that sense of the breath inside of the orange. And it create a mango with the same sense inside of the mango.
Mm-hmm.
But it create a different nutrients. And the nutrients is to take care of your body. The sense is to let the breath know that, yes, this is an orange that coming from the breath. The same sense is the sense that is in the mango to let you know that, yes, this is the mango that coming from the breath. Now, if you cook a piece of food that coming from the breath, it having the same sense. Now, what people do now, they cook out the nutrients from the food, but you cannot cook out the sense, because when you eat the food, the nutrients gone and your body are not getting any nutrients from the food, but that sense, that sensitivity of the breath that farm itself into the yam, it cannot leave the yam because it don't have anywhere to go. It cannot leave the banana. It cannot leave the meat. It cannot leave the vegetable because it does not have anywhere to go, because it's one breath, one single breath. So the breath comes and create with a sensitivity to it. That's why when the mango tree bear, it bear mango. So that's the sense of the breath to know that for years and years and years, this tree are bearing, it just bear mango alone, because it's sensitive to know that it not gonna make no mistake for bear ackee on it one year.
Mm-hmm.
It's straight mango. So it is very sensitive in everything.
Okay.
Yeah. So it come with sense and it come with nutrients. Nutrients is what into the yam. So when you put the yam on the fire, the water boil away the nutrients, but it cannot boil away the sense, because the sense is the yam itself that you hold on pan or eat. The nutrients is what inside the yam, which is the sense, same way. So everything now come back to the breath.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is the breath. The yam is the breath. But I mean, we live in a different type of liberty where they name things to distract us from the breath. They name things. Now, I have a friend that voice note me the other day and asked me, what do I think about she used a word that most people use to talk about them spirituality. Intuition.
Intuition. Okay.
Yeah. She asked me about intuition. What do I think about intuition? What is intuition?
Mm-hmm.
So, because I realized that a lot of people use these words and get these words to use as a disguise from the truth of life. So I voice note her back and let her know that intuition is really the breath. It's really the breath that perform these spiritual vibration at that moment, what we call intuition. So when you use the word intuition, it's like you have not think about the breath. A person not thinking about the breath, they are thinking about something else. And from your thinking about something else away from the breath, then you're going lost track of the truth of life.
Okay, so
So
mhm.
I am not against these words, but I don't familiate myself with them from the moment I come realize that the breath is all there is. Because when you connect and stick to the vibration of the breath, then you are in the right place of life.
Okay.
You are in the right motion and place of life where you are more consciously conscious about life. But most people are not consciously conscious because they are not aware of the breath.
Mm-hmm.
That the breath is what we should just view on a daily basis. Nothing else, nothing else. Especially when it comes to like people who are seeking for salvation or for help or sending out a prayer. Nothing else you should send your prayer to more than the breath in front you, around you, and inside of us. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for that explanation. I know that I hope that it didn't go over anyone's heads. I know with myself, I was digesting each part of it, and this is one
Mhm.
of many interviews that we're going to continue to do. So I don't want to keep it going on too long, but I do want you to leave us with a tip. Like, say I am new, me, I'm a regular meditator, right? But say I'm somebody that's new to meditation and I want to start becoming more connected to the breath. So, can you give someone a tip on the first thing that they can do to start gaining a deeper connection with the breath?
Okay. I don't really think there's a first thing. There's any special first thing.
Okay.
Because you can a person can start clean up their thought. You
Okay.
can start clean up your thought because to get to the breath and to know the breath, you have to start to think more inwards.
Mm-hmm.
As I was saying in the first, that meditation, you close your eyes, you sit in a calm, a quiet zone, and you do some deep, highly breathing, not even deep breathing, some highly breathing, where you focus on the breath that you are breathing. So you exclude everything else that you were focusing on in the world and bring your focus to the breath. Every time you inhale, you've just viewed the breath going in inside of your nostril, going straight to your lungs and transforming itself into all different particles of your body. And you just keep that focus for some time while you are there.
Mm-hmm.
And just still keep the focus while the breath is exhaling, same way. And by doing that, you find you start to more gravitate. The breath more start to connect with you more. It always been connecting with us, but we are so unconscious about this. And we try to conscious about something that we're not supposed to be conscious of. And what we supposed to be conscious of, we don't conscious of it because we don't really get many teaching about this. Knowing about the breath, you cannot know it in school. And once you start to go to school, you are going to learn what the system wants you to learn. So you are not going to get the chance to know about the breath until you reach your mature stage,
Yeah.
until you reach your spiritual stage where you decide that, okay, there is something that I want to make a changes in my life. So let me get close and more to nature. Nature is the ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot go wrong with nature, never. And the nature is really the breath. So we get all these words in different particles and different shape, looks, and form, but everything coming straight back to the oneness of life, which is the divine source, the breath.
Okay.
So, yeah, meditation is a good start.
You
Uh,
actually gave us three. You said clean up your thoughts. And for you guys that don't know, I know I do the free mind workshop, which teaches you how to identify the different types of thoughts that you have and what you can do to help clean them up. And what I mean by clean them up is to reverse them into making positive thinking your default thinking. And so
yeah,
that's what he said. Clean up your thoughts, get into a meditation habit, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 1 minute a day, whatever you need to do to just get started,
def-
build up
definitely.
your resistance, and then learn how to connect with
Yeah.
nature. So even though he said there were no steps, he gave us three of them. Um, so I hope this was helpful.
Yeah.
I
But
hope,
no specific, you don't ask what I'm saying, that you don't have specific way how to start.
yeah,
There's no really specific way, but you can choose something that will lead you to the breath.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All three
So
of them
so cleaning up your
are important.
thoughts is one,
Yeah,
meditation is one, and focus on the breath.
focus breathing, intentional breathing.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you and I appreciate your time. I appreciate the gems that you drop. We have to give them in bits and pieces so they can digest.
Definitely.
We will be
Yeah.
back. We will be back with more subjects and more topics. But I just want to introduce my community and his community to my spiritual mentor here. I talk about him all the time, and here he is in the flesh. Thank you for everyone who watched this video. If you enjoy it, like, subscribe, comment, share it with other people, and we are out.